Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm just starting up a new video for the week. I'm just doing these sort of roughly weekly, no real rhyme or rhythm to them. I'm just giving you updates of my giant pumpkin plants and just sort of whatever I feel like. Well, anyway, before we get started, any of you who are new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, and all of you like the video. I appreciate that very much. Share with your friends, whatever, just the typical YouTube stuff. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get into it. Okay, we're over here starting off at hot hut number 2. And these plants are looking great. I'm going to get you a look underneath that shade because it does kind of obscure your view a bit on the camera. And my mom also was watching my videos saying I need to get a little bit more up and close in person with the plants and just show you the little details. So I'm going to do a little bit of that today. First off, I want to show you the mint. It's doing well. The surface of that pot is dry, but it's moist underneath. I've been watering it. It's greening up now. It was a little yellow for a while, so I'm really happy about that. It's also grown a bit, so, we'll see. At least it hasn't died, so that's a good thing. And first off, I'll show you. That plant right there is just about to start vining out because it's got that little tendril forming already, and you can see it's got a nice little secondary right there forming, and then there's another one on the side. I'm going to show you the back view of the plant, but it's got a nice little vine tip and a nice little vine starting to come out there, so I'm really excited about that plant. It's even further along than this plant, which is bigger, because if you look here, no tendril yet, and the vine tip isn't as big, so, and the vine itself, if I can get a good angle here, oops, is not as long compared to its age. Like, both the plants are the same age, and the other one's vine is the same length, so in reality, that plant is better. So then I come around the back, and this is basically what the two plants look like from the back. Some of that leaf and this leaf are kind of wilting a little bit in the heat. I probably got to cut that leaf off fairly soon, but here's a view of the vine from the back. You can see it's a nice stocky plant. I'm probably going to take off a few of those first secondaries because they're never a very good thing. Okay, so yeah, you can see there I took off that first secondary there. The other two look healthy, so I'm going to leave those, but that one was developing a little oddly, so I just took that off. And then over on this plant, you see I already took that secondary off. This plant just isn't developing as quickly. I mean, it has more leaves, it's just the vine isn't going out as quickly, so I think that one's going to be the keeper. And then this plant here is a backup plant. It's doing fairly well. I'm pretty happy with it. I would grow, if it was like my only plant, I would definitely grow it to competition. Because there's nothing wrong with it really, it's just a little smaller than those ones. I'm actually going to give that to a friend of mine's dad, because he really likes to garden, so he's just going to give it a try. Okay, so now we're over here at hot hut number 1. These are the larger plants. You can see you can probably see fairly well that they are pretty big, much bigger than the other two. They got huge leaves already. I'm just pretty chuffed about that. This 1477 Caspers has proved me wrong. It wasn't as good as the Morse and everything, or so I thought. You see it's already got a nice vine coming out. And the vine tip and everything, and the tendrils. I'll show you a side view of that in a minute. But yeah, that plant is looking great. I love its color. It's got a nice dark green, and I really like that. And then over here on the morse plant is bigger. It has bigger leaves, but the vine isn't just quite as developed. And it's also still having that problem where it just wants to grow skyward. Other than that, there's really no issue. So I'm really happy with both these plants. Okay, so here's a little bit of a view from the side of the 2350 morse. It was a little funky for a while. You see, that's the main vine tip. For a little bit, it almost looked like it was going to be a double vine, but it just had a really thick main vine. It didn't end up with any leaf doubling or ribbon vine shape or anything, so it just had a very thick main vine, which is making it a little difficult to lay down. So it ended up growing straight upwards, so I'm still trying to get the plant to lay down. If I can't get that sorted out, I will cull this one out and keep the other one, because the other one is already laid down. I'll show you that in a minute. Other than that little funky stuff going on with the main vine, this is a great plant. It's just, see, it's still giving me trouble laying down. And with that plant, I cut off the second true leaf. That's typically called the kickstand leaf. That makes it more difficult to lay down. So, and it was already an issue on this plant, so I cut that off a few days ago. Okay, so here's a side view of the 1477 Casper's plant. You can see, at least I hope you can see, it's already made touchdown. It's laid down nicely. That first true leaf's looking a little sorry, so I'm probably going to cut that off here soon. I've cut the second true leaf off on this plant as well, just to help it lay down. You can see this plant, as well as that one, has nice thick leaf stalks. And then it's already got that nice vine coming out. And I'm really happy about that. The only thing is, though, this stump is a little different from ones I've had in the past. Usually, the stump will kind of stick up. Like, imagine the part that's not my fingers on my hand is the stump, and then the main vine continues like that. It would kind of go like that. But this time, the whole stump laid down on this plant. So, and that other one is not doing that. It's doing what I've typically seen. So, you know, it's something new to me. But both plants look great. I'm very happy with them. And that's it for now. Alright, hello everybody. It's May. It's Monday, May, whatever day of the month it is. I don't really know right now. I'm in kind of a rush right now because these plants right here outgrew their mini greenhouse, so I've got to get them set up something temporary because we have not amended and got the main greenhouse thing set up yet. So these plants need something to keep them from dying while that is yet to be constructed. So I'm just going to get into an update real quick, show you how they're doing, how the other plants are doing, and yeah, let's do it. Okay, first off, I want you to make a judgment on which one you think is better. You know, I know you're probably thinking this one, right? Well, you're wrong. I'll explain why real quick. You see this thing? It's got jack squat for secondaries back there. And there's that little guy right there. And there's this guy, he's decent. And then this is pretty much what you would expect for any giant pumpkin plant right here on the tip. So this overall is a pretty healthy plant. It's just doesn't have great secondary development, which is upsetting to me because secondaries are hard to get to grow on plants here in New Mexico. But when you come over to look at this guy, the 2350 Morse, first of all, it does have better color. Like the vine tips, a little bit darker. First off, look at that tendril. It's huge, boy. And then you look at this one, and that's pretty much on the same leaf node, comparatively. And it's got teeny little tendrils. Then there's that one, then there's that one. See? Much smaller. And then, look at those secondaries. Yeah, that's what I like to see. All the way back there, there's secondaries developing. This is going to be a great plant. This one, nice secondary. So definitely, I'm thinking I want to keep that plant. And you may be thinking, this one's a good foot longer. Not really. If I come back here, see this one's a good 6 inches further this way than that one. So, to put them more comparatively, I think looking at a vine tip rather than right there, it's more like right there. So, there isn't that much difference in length, although this one is a fair bit longer. So, I'm probably going to keep that one. I just like it better. Alright, now here we are in hot hut number 2, which can now be called hot hut number 1 because there's no hot hut over there. And my sister's trying to catch a chicken, that's why you hear that. But you see there's a vine poking out here. There ain't no vine poking out right there. This one's gonna be the keeper for sure. I like it better. It's got a longer vine all the way back, and it's got fairly decent secondaries. Not amazing, but yeah, I like that vine. When I come over here, oh, there it is. Teeny little vine in there. This plant's a whole week younger. Definitely this one's going to be the one I keep. It's not interesting. Both of them are on the right side from the front, left side from the back, but whatever, yeah. Both plants are on this side. The ones on this side are the ones I'm thinking of keeping. I think that's kind of interesting. The man's doing great. My brother's giant green squash for the 150 patch competition. It's looking great. Now I'm going to get to building those guys' temporary setup, and then I'll update you then. And I'll be done with the week's video, or 2 weeks video. Alright, so I'm done setting up, getting my setup ready. I think I lost a clip on my time lapse. I haven't checked that yet, but I just want to show you something real quick. This plant, this 2350 Morse, ever since it stinking sprouted, has done nothing but want to grow skyward. So, right there, it was looking like it was about to kink the way it was trying to lay down because his vine's so thick and stiff that it just doesn't seem to want to lay down. So what I've done is I piled up a whole bunch of dirt underneath, and I'm going to just lay it down at a slow, steady arc rather than trying to get it to lay down like that plant did. So yeah, I hope it works out. I really would rather keep this plant just because it has better secondaries. Just seems like a better plant overall to me. So yeah, there is some splitting on that stump right there, but there's also splitting on that one. I'll show you with a better angle in a minute. but so since they're splitting on both stumps, I'm not really going to take that into account for which one I'm going to keep. Let me show you over here. See, this one's splitting too. So it's not really a big issue. It's more of an issue if it splits like this, because that limits the amount of flow can go up the vine. But if it's like that, then it can just heal, and it's still just as much can flow up. So that's not really an issue, I don't think. But with that morse, I also had trouble. It almost kinked on the stump too. In fact, it did kink, so I had to raise it back up and then start lowering it down more slowly. And that did work. It's no longer kinked. So I think if I do the same with that vine, it should be fine. And it didn't even kink. So I think I've prevented a big problem. And hopefully I can keep that morse over there. But if not, this is a nice plant too. It just doesn't have as good secondary vines. Anyway, my recording device is almost out of battery. So with that, I'll catch you next time.